So in the previous class, I have discussed the solutions of the questions numbering from 61 to 72 in the assignment in work power energy. So now I am going to continue the discussion of the solutions for the questions in the assignment in work power energy starting from 73 onwards. Come on, look at the question number 73 on the screen. A block slides from rest down a fixed plane, inclined plane, and there is friction between the block and the inclined plane. The block reaches the bottom of the incline. Its kinetic energy is 3 joules, and gravity does 10 joules of work on the block. Work done by friction force of the block by the inclined plane is. So you can solve this problem by the work energy theorem. So according to the work energy theorem, change in the kinetic energy of the block is equal to the total work done by all the external forces acting on the block. So then in the kinetic of the block can be written as equal to total work done by all the forces acting on the block. That is, change in the kinetic of the block can be written as equal to work done by gravitational force on the block plus work done by force of friction on the block plus work done by the normal reaction force on the block by the inclined surface. W subscript small g represents work done by the gravitational force on the block, which is given to be 10 joules. W small f represents the work done by force of friction on the block, which you have to find. Wn represents work done by normal reaction on the block, that can be taken as 0 joules. Because the normal reaction force on the block by the inclined plane acts perpendicular to the inclined surface. That means it acts perpendicular to the direction of the displacement of the block. Therefore, work done by normal reaction on the block is 0. Change in the kinetic of the block is equal to final kinetic energy when it reaches the bottom of the inclined plane minus initial kinetic energy top of the inclined plane. Final kinetic energy when it reaches the bottom of the inclined plane is given as 3 joules. And initial kinetic energy at the top of the inclined plane is 0 as the block starts from rest. Therefore, you get work done by force of friction on the block as minus 7 joules. That's the answer. If you want to copy, you can take a pause and copy. So for question number 73, first option is the answer. Next, look at the question number 74. What power is used by an external agent in increasing the velocity of a block of mass 10 kg from 1 meter per second to 5 meter per second, pushing 3 meter up along a fixed inclined plane, as in figure? If a constant force of friction of 20 Newton acts for the entire distance, take G equal to 10 meter per second square. This problem can also be solved by the work energy theorem. That is, the change in the kinetic energy of the block is equal to total work done by all the force acting on the block. To calculate the power used by the external agent, you have to calculate the work done by the external agent. And also you have to find the time interval. So the initial loss to the block is 1 meter per second, and final loss of the block is 5 meter per second after it travels 3 meters. Because the retarding force due to friction is constant, the gravitational force is also constant. Therefore, you may assume that the block moves up along the inclined plane with a constant acceleration. You have to find the time of motion to find the power. And also you have to calculate work done by the agent. So you select the equation in kinematics in terms of these 4 letters U, V, S and T without letter A, that is without the acceleration term. You can write displacement of the body is equal to average of initial and final velocities multiplied by the time interval. So initial loss is 1 meter per second. The final loss is 5 meter per second after covering a displacement of 3 meters. So you get the time of motion as 1 second. That means time taken to move 3 meters up the inclined plane is 1 second. Next, you have to calculate work done by the pushing force applied by the external agent. That means we are going to calculate the average power here. More precisely, we may write what average power in the problem itself. So applying work energy theorem, changing the kinetic energy of the block is equal to total work done by all the force acting on the block. So change in the kinetic energy of the block is equal to work done by the force applied by the agent on the block. Let W subscript A denote work done by the pushing force applied by the agent on the block, plus work done by the gravitational force on the block, plus work done by force of friction on the block, plus work done by normal reaction force on the block. Wg is represented work done by gravitational force on the block. As I discussed in the past, when the center of gravity of the block rises through a vertical height h near the earth's surface, work done by the gravitational force of the block we can write minus mgh. So when the block moves a distance s up along the inclined surface and eventually the corresponding increase in the vertical height, then you can write sin theta equal to h by s, or h equal to s into sin theta. Here theta is 30 degrees. Sin 30 degrees 1 by 2, magnitude of the displacement is 3 meters. Change in the kinetic of the block is equal to final kinetic energy of the block minus initial kinetic. Final kinetic energy you can write half mv square. Initial final kinetic energy half mv square. Initial kinetic energy equal to half mv square. Work done by gravitational force of the block when the block rises through a vertical height h is minus mgh. Work done by the force of friction on the block we can write minus fs, because the force of friction acts opposite to the direction of the displacement of the block and it has a constant magnitude of 20 newtons. Work done by normal reaction of the block will be 0. Therefore, work done by the force applied by the agent on the block is equal to half m into v square minus u square plus mgh plus f into s. The mass m of the block is given to be 10 kg. The final loss to v is 5 meter per second. The initial loss to u is 1 meter per second. G is given as 10 meter per second square. M is 10 kg. H equal to 3 by 2 meter. Magnitude of friction force is 20 newtons. Magnitude of the displacement of the block is 3 meters. We have expressed all units in SI system. So this work done will be in joules. Come on, you try to simplify this yourself. Those who want to copy the solution of the problem, they can start writing the solution of the problem. So that will be 330 joules. So work done by the force applied by the agent. So they have the average power delivered by the agent is equal to work done by the agent divided by the time interval. So average power delivered by the agent is called work done by the agent divided by time interval. That is 330 joules by 1 second. In case you need more time to copy the solution, you can take a pause and copy the solution. So for question number 74, first option is answer. See the question number 75. A spring of force constant 15 Newton per meter. Look at the question number 75. Spring of force constant 15 Newton per meter is compressed from its natural position through 1 centimeter. Find the work done by the spring force on the agency compressing the spring. If L0 is a natural length, the initial length we write L0 plus xi. The final length we write L0 plus xf. Here initially the spring has natural length. In the final position, the final length of spring is less than the natural length by 1 centimeter. The spring is compressed by 1 centimeter from its natural length. So the final length of the spring is smaller than the natural length by 1 centimeter. That means xi can be taken as 0, xf equal to minus 1 centimeter. As I discussed in the theory part, in general, the work done by the elastic force exerted by the spring when the length of spring changes is given by half k into xi square minus xf square. Here k is 15 Newton per meter, xi equal to 0, xf equal to minus 10 power minus 2 meter. Xi equal to 0 meter. So that you can try to simplify it further. So minus 2.5 into 10 power minus 3 joules or minus 2.5 millijoules. As I discussed even in the theory part, that in general if a spring is compressed by a distance x from its natural length, work done by elastic force by the spring is minus half kx square. In case you remember that conclusion, you can directly write minus half kx square, then you can take x equal to 10 power minus 2 meter or minus 10 power minus 2 meter. You get the same answer. So for question number 75, second option is the answer. See the question number 76. This actually have discussed one of the special cases. In case you remember the conclusion, you can directly write the answer. A block of mass m is suspended through a spring of spring constant k and is in equilibrium. Sharp blow gives the block an initial downward velocity v. How far below the equilibrium position the block comes to instantaneous rest? So similar question I have discussed. I mean, in one of special cases, in case you remember that special case I have discussed, you can directly use the conclusion or you can repeat the same calculation. But still I would like to otherwise also again explain you the procedure. Let x1 denote the elongation of spring from its natural length in the original equilibrium position of the block. Equilibrium position of the block is the position of the block where net force of the block is 0. So two forces act on the block in the equilibrium position. One is its weight mg which acts vertically downwards. Second one is elastic force by the spring. The magnitude of elastic force by the spring is K into x1. Here x1 is elongation of spring in the equilibrium position of the block. x1 or xe. Same thing in my discussion special case I have denoted by xe. Let us apply conservation of mechanical energy. And the block moves by distance s below the equilibrium position. Here the block is given an impulse in the equilibrium position so that it gains a velocity v. Then allowed to move under the action of conservative forces mg and elastic force by spring. Therefore, total mechanical energy of the system remains constant during subsequent motion after the impulse is given. So at the original equilibrium position of the block, net force of the block is 0. So magnitude elastic force by spring K into x1 equal to its weight mg. Or you can write x1 equal to mg by k. Let Vf denote the final velocity of the block after it has moved by a distance s below the initial position. Initial velocity is v, which are denoted by u, initial velocity in the special case, which I have discussed earlier. Applying conservative energy. Let us choose this. You have to find the maximum distance the block moves below this equilibrium position. So the lowest point of the block during the motion, we can take it as reference position for a measurement of gravitational potential. So gravitational potential of the block can be taken as 0 at the lowest position of the block. At the lowest position, final velocity is 0 and displacement is maximum. Let Sm denote the maximum displacement below the equilibrium position. So here we assume gravitational potential of the block can be taken as 0. As I discussed in the past, when we come across a problem involving a block and a spring, we can consider the block and spring together as one system. Then the total mechanical energy of system is sum of three terms: kinetic energy of the block plus gravitational potential of the block plus elastic potential energy stored in the spring. So in the initial position, kinetic energy of the block is half mv square. Gravitational potential of the block at the initial position is mg into height of the block above the lowest position. That is mg into Sm. Sm represents maximum displacement from below the equilibrium position. Initially, spring has elongation x1. So initial elastic potential energy stored in the spring is half k x1 square. At the lowest position, this is the total mechanical system at the initial position. That can be equated to the total mechanical system in the final position. At the lowest position, final position, kinetic of the block is 0, gravitational potential of the block is also 0. Elastic potential energy stored in the spring is half k into elongation in the equilibrium position. From elongation from natural length, the final length of spring in here is equal to L0 plus x1 plus Sm. The final length we write L0 plus xf. Sm is the maximum. So xf is the along the difference between the final length and natural length. xf is the difference between the final length and natural length. That is equal to x1 plus sm. So elastic potential is stored in the spring at the lowest position of the block is equal to, and the block reaches the lowest position is equal to half k into x1 plus sm whole square. So this has to be simplified. Those who want to copy the solution of the problem, they can start copying the solution, because the rest of the discussion is only the simplification part. So half kx1 square, you can cancel both the sides. And you can substitute kx1 equal to mg here on the right hand side. So half mv square plus mg into sm plus half ksm square equal to mg into sm. That means here I'll substitute kx1 equal to mg. mg sm gets cancelled. So you get sm equal to v into root of m by k. S subscript m represents maximum displacement of the block below the equilibrium position. Those who want to take more time to copy the solution of the problem, they can take a pause. So for question number 76, first option is the answer. Next, see the question number 77. A uniform chain of length L and mass M overhangs a smooth table with its 2/3 part lying on the table. The kinetic energy of the chain as it completely slips off the table is. So here also the chain is lying on smooth surface. There is no friction. So the chain begins to move under influence of gravity. So when no work is done by other forces which are not conservative, total mechanical energy of the system remains constant. So we consider the chain as a system here. So for convenience of calculations, we can choose the surface of the table as reference position for measurement of gravitational potential energy chain. So initially 2/3 of the length of the chain is lying on the surface of the table. The chain is released from rest from this position. It means 1/3 of the length of the chain is hanging from the free edge of surface of table. So you have to find the magnitude of velocity of the chain when the chain completely just slips off from surface of table. Of course, with the help of scale, we can draw the diagram in a better way. Just showing a rough way. Let we denote the magnitude of velocity of the chain at the instant when the chain just completely slips off from the surface of the table. So when at this instant the center of mass of the chain will be at a distance L by 2 below the surface of the table. So I take the surface of the table as a reference level for measurement of gravitational potential energy. That means I assume that gravitational potential energy of the chain to be 0 on the surface of the table. So assume that the gravitational potential change to be 0 on the surface of the table. Therefore, initially, one-third of the length of chain is hanging from the edge of the table. It is a uniform chain. That means the chain has same density and same cross-sectional area throughout. So mass of the hanging part of the chain is equal to one-third of the total mass of the chain. So length of the hanging part is one-third of the total length of the chain. So center of mass of the hanging part will be at a distance equal to half of the length of the hanging part. That is half of L by 3 will be L by 6. Half of L by 3 will be equal to L by 6. That means in the initial position of the chain, the gravitational potential energy of the part of the chain lying on the table can be taken as 0, because we are choosing the table surface as a reference level for measurement of gravitational potential energy. So if gravitational potential energy is taken as 0 and at the surface of the table, then gravitational potential chain will be negative when the chain is below the surface of the table. So initial potential energy of the chain, you can write mass of the hanging part into G into vertical height of center of mass below surface of table. We put a negative sign because we are assuming that the gravitational potential energy to be 0 on the surface of the table. Therefore, potential energy of the length, potential energy of the part of the chain with length 2L by 3 on the table is 0. Then potential energy of the hanging part will be negative because center of mass of hanging part is below the reference level. That is below the 0 level. So initial kinetic energy is 0 of chain because chain is released from rest. In the final position, final potential chain is equal to minus mg into center of mass of the hanging entire chain lies at distance L by 2 below surface of table. So final kinetic energy you can write half mv square. Applying conservation of mechanical energy, total mechanical chain remains constant between the two instants. So sum of the final kinetic energy of the chain and final potential energy of the chain is equal to sum of the initial kinetic energy and initial potential energy of the chain. The final kinetic energy of the chain is half mv square. Final potential energy of the chain is minus mgl by 2. Initial kinetic is 0. Initial potential energy is equal to m minus mgl by 3 into 6, 18. So half mv square can be. Now those who want to copy the solution of the problem, they can copy the solution of the problem. So the kinetic energy of the chain will be mgl into four mgl by 9 is the answer. Of course, you are not asked to find speed v. In case you are asked to find speed v, you can cancel v m both sides. You get v square equal to 2 into 4gl by 9. Or you can write v equal to 2 by 3 root 2gl. In case you are asked to find v. But you are not asked to find v here. So answer will be 4 mgl by 9. So in case you need time to copy the solution, you can take a pause and take your time. So for question number 77, second option is the answer. Let's see the question number 78. This problem comes under one of the special cases which I have discussed in conservation of energy. Please look at the Probably in the last two special cases is there in the special cases in conservation of mechanical energy. So I directly going to use the result because I don't want to repeat the same calculation which I have already discussed in the past. In case you are unable to recollect, you again go back to the class with the under the heading special cases in conservation of energy. Now I read out the question. Once a block of mass 5 kg is suspended from the end of vertical spring which is stretched by 10 centimeter under the load of the block. The block is given a sharp impulse from below so that it acquires a upward speed of 2 meters per second. How high will it rise? So the vertical height with the block rises can be written as u into root of m by k. U is the magnitude of initial velocity given to the block at the equilibrium position. K is the elastic force constant spring. So spring is, if x is the longest of spring in the equilibrium position of the block, original equilibrium position, k into x equal mg. Or you can write m by k equal xe by g. So you can write this as u into root of xe by g. Xe is the longest of spring in equilibrium position of the block. So here u is given to 2 meters per second. Xe 10 centimeters means 0.1 meter. And g is given to be 10 meters per second square. So you get 0.2 meter or 20 centimeter as the answer. In case you want to have detailed solution of this result, you refer back to the special cases I have discussed in conservation mechanical energy because I don't want to repeat the same calculation which I have already discussed in detail. I have also shown you the notes. You can take a pause if you need time to copy. Next, I am going to discuss the next question. For question number 78, second option is the answer. See the question number 79. Work done by conservative force on the system is equal to. This question is theoretical question. I have discussed the theory that change in the potential energy of a body or system when the system passes from one state to another state. Write UF minus UI. UI is the potential energy of the body or system in the initial state. UF is the potential of the body or system in the final state. From definition, the change in potential of the body or system when the system passes from initial state I to final state F, defined to be equal work done against conservative forces. Means we write delta U is equal to minus WC. WC is the work done by the conservative forces. That means work done by the conservative force equal negative of change in the potential energy of system. That means fourth option is the answer. See the question number 80. A 15-gram ball is shot from a spring gun. Whose spring has a force constant 600 Newton per meter. The spring is compressed by 5 centimeters. The greatest possible horizontal range of the ball for this compression is. So one initial elastic potential energy stored in the spring is half kx square, where x is the distance through which the spring is compressed from its natural length. When the spring is released, this elastic potential energy stored in the spring becomes zero when the spring acquires its natural length. That means this elastic potential energy stored in the spring gets converted to kinetic energy of the ball. V is the magnitude of the velocity which the ball gets projected from spring gun. Then you can write elastic potential stored in the spring in the initial position when the spring is compressed by distance x is half kx square, which gets converted to kinetic energy of the ball after spring is released. Therefore, U can be written as x into root of k by m. U is the speed with which the ball is shot from the spring gun. X is the initial compression spring, that is 5 centimeters or 5 into 10 power minus 2 meter. K is the last force constant spring, which is equal to 600 Newton per meter. M is the mass of the ball, that is 15 gram, that is 15 into 10 power minus 3 kg. Can simplify this. So for given, as we discussed in the theory of projectile motion, for given initial speed of projection, the horizontal range of the projectile will be maximum when the angle of projection is 45 degrees above the horizontal. So maximum horizontal range for given initial speed u is given by u square by g, as I discussed in the theory of projectile motion. In general, horizontal range in the case of oblique u square sine 2 theta by g. Here theta is 45 degrees for maximum range. You can substitute the value of u from here. Can complete the calculation yourself, simplify it, copy down and complete the calculation. So I get u equal to 10 meter per second. So maximum horizontal range for given initial speed is u square by g. U is 10 meter per second, g is 10 meter per second square. So you get answer as 10 meters. If you need more time to copy the solution of the problem, you can take a pause. So for question number 80, third option is the answer. So next I am going to discuss the question number 81. The ratio of the momentum and kinetic energy of a particle is inversely proportional to the time. Then this is the case of A. So magnitude linear momentum of the particle denoted by P. Let us denote the kinetic energy by K. That is proportional, inversely proportional time. Or P by K you will write. Magnitude linear momentum is equal to m into V. Kinetic energy of the body is given by half mv square. Let us denote the constant of proportionality by C. So from this you get V equal to 2t by C. So velocity is proportional to the time. In general, if a body starts from rest and moves with constant acceleration, then velocity after time t can write V equal to A into t, where A is the magnitude of the acceleration. So V is proportional to t only when the particle starts from rest and moves with uniform acceleration. So you can conclude that the particle starts from rest and moves with uniform acceleration. Otherwise, mathematically you can find acceleration by the instantaneous acceleration dv by dt, that is d by dt of 2t by c. Here see the constant of proportionality. So you get acceleration of 2 by c. If you want to copy the solution, you can take a pause. So for question number 81, first option is the answer. See the question number 82. A particle is released from height capital H. At certain height, its kinetic energy 2 times its potential energy. Height and speed of the particle at that instant r. That will be the initial position of the particle from where it is released from rest. From the height capital H. Above the reference level or ground level. Let A be the position of the particle just before it hits the ground or reference level. Let P denote the position of position of the particle at which its kinetic energy is 2 times the potential energy. Let small h denote the height of the point P. So from conservative, here the particle moves only under influence of gravity, which is a conservative force. Therefore, total mechanical energy of the particle can be assumed to be constant. So sum of the kinetic energy of the particle at P and gravitational potential energy of the particle at P is equal to sum of the kinetic energy at O and gravitational potential energy of the particle at O. So according to the problem, kinetic energy at P is 2 times the potential energy. So kinetic energy at P you can write 2 times the potential energy at P. Potential energy at P is mgh. So kinetic energy at P is 2 times mgh. Potential energy at P you can write mg into small h. Small h is the height of the point P above the ground or reference level. We'll assume gravitational potential energy to be 0 at the point A. So kinetic energy at O is 0 because it is released from rest at O. Gravitational potential energy at O equal to mg into capital H. So you get 3 mg to small h equal to mg into capital H. 3 small h equal to capital H. So height of this point P will be capital H by 3. That is one of the answers. To find speed of the particle at P, according to the problem, kinetic energy at P is given to be 2 times the potential energy at P. So kinetic energy at P can write half mv square, where v is the magnitude of velocity at P. Potential energy at P can write mgh. So you get v square equal to 4gh. 4g into small h you can write capital H by 3. So v can be written as under root of 4gh by 3 or 2 into root of gh by 3. That is the answer for second part of the question. So if you want to copy the solution of the problem, you can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. So for question number 82, second option is the answer. Then next see the question number 83 here. The velocity time graph of a particle moving in a straight line is as shown in the figure. Mass of the particle is 2 kg. The work done by all the forces acting on the particle in the time interval between t equal to 0 and t equal to 10 seconds is. So total work done by all the forces on the particle is equal to change in the kinetic energy of the particle. Change in the kinetic energy of the particle, final kinetic energy of the particle minus initial kinetic energy of the particle. Final kinetic energy can write half mv square or half m into vf square. Initial kinetic energy can write half m into vi square. So we'll write it again more clearly, half m into vf square minus vi square. So vi is the magnitude of the initial loss of the particle, that is equal to 10 meter per second. At t equal to 0, the velocity is equal to 10 meter per second. And the final velocity at t equal to 10 seconds is minus 20 meter per second. But vf square will be positive. So mass m equal to kg. Final kinetic energy is equal to minus 20 meter per second. Final velocity, I'm sorry, is minus 20 meter per second. The initial velocity 10 meter per second. Can simplify this. So total work done by all the force acting on the particle will be 300 joules. So answer is 300 joules. So for question number 83, first option is the answer. Next is the question number 84. The mass of capital M is suspended by a weightless string. the minimum horizontal force that is required to displace it until the string makes an angle of 45 degrees with the initial vertical direction is. So you have to assume that force applied is constant. To find the minimum value of the constant horizontal force required to displace it from the vertical position. So that string makes an angle theta equal to 45 degrees in the new position. Let S denote the horizontal displacement of the body and L is the length of the string. So three forces are acting on the mass M here. So weight mg acts vertically downwards, and tension force by the string acts along the string and away from the mass M. F is the magnitude of the constant horizontal force applied on the mass. So here the vertical height through which the mass rises as it moves from the lowest position to the position where the string makes an angle theta denoted by h. As I discussed in the past, h can be written as L minus L cos theta or L into 1 minus cos theta. And from the figure you can write sin theta equal to S by L. So S is the magnitude of horizontal displacement that you can write L sin theta. We can solve the problem easily by using work energy theorem. The change in the kinetic energy of the mass M is equal to total work done by all the forces. That is work done by the constant force F plus work done by the gravitational force plus work done by tension force by the string. We have to calculate the minimum force required. So when the mass is moved slowly from the lowest position where the string is vertical to the new position where the string makes an angle theta equal to 45 degrees with the vertical very slowly. Throughout the displacement, the tension force continuously acts perpendicular to any infinitesimally small displacement in the path. So work done by tension force by the string can be taken as 0. And work done by the gravitational force on the body when the body rises through a vertical height h, you can write minus mgh. Work done by the constant force is equal to product of the magnitude of the constant force multiplied by magnitude of the displacement in the direction of the constant force. Magnitude of displacement in the direction of constant force is F. So S can be written as here L into sin theta and H equal to L into 1 minus cos theta. So the force required will be minimum when change in the kinetic energy is 0. That means if the mass M is moved very, very slowly with negligible speed and with uniform negligible speed, then kinetic energy can be assumed to be constant, change in kinetic is 0. That means F is minimum and delta K is 0. And theta you can write it as 45 degrees. And sin 45 degrees or sin theta you can take 1 by root 2. Cos 45 degrees also equal to 1 by root 2. So F minimum into L by root 2 is equal to mgl into root 2 minus 1 by root 2. So L by root 2 gets cancelled. So F minimum, therefore you can write mg into root 2 minus 1. So in case you want to copy the solution of the problem, you can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem.